What is up? We are back. It is Brevity Sports, the Brevity Boys. We are back.
Woo.
And if you can't tell, we're trying to make some upgrades for the people. All right. We are in this for you. And so we are looking
Sir.
around. We've been using Zoom and we're like, me and Big Z were talking. We're like, Big Z, the people deserve better than Zoom. And so
They
Big
truly
Z
do.
went out. Come on.
They deserve to see our beautiful faces just in a more clear image, right? Like they need to see the expressions, the funniness, the weird quirkiness of both of us in
Absolutely.
4K pleasure, right?
Absolutely.
And that's what we're trying to provide.
We are trying to provide it. We are trying out some services. So this is the first one. Hopefully it works out. But we are so happy to have you. We've been seeing the YouTube comments. We've been commenting back. We are fired up for the NFL. And don't worry, guys. If you're listening to this podcast, you're thinking, the NFL is almost over. I'm going to lose the Brevity Boys. That is not true, right?
Not
We are
at all.
immediately going more. We're going to focus more in the NHL. We're going to focus more on baseball. Pitchers are obviously they're already going to report in like a month, Big Z. Next month,
I can't believe it. Less than a month, man.
I mean, come on. So they're going to be around March Madness.
We'll do NBA, even NBA.
Get some NBA in there, you know?
Yeah, March Madness, like you said, we're trying to figure out something fun to do for March Madness, like something creative that gets you guys involved, also gets us, against each other. Even though I still am excited to see who finishes further, UConn or Creighton. But as of now, you're probably going to win the bet. But you never know. March Madness, you just got to make the dance. And then
UConn. That's the thing. As long as you get dancing, right? Just get dancing, and you're going to be just fine. We had a big weekend of football, obviously, this week. Before we get into that, we're going to talk some football. We're going to touch again on the NCAA championship game because we talked about it last week, and we're just going to make sure that we're both on the same page. Because I got to tell you, I heard a pretty funny clip from Shane Gillis, and if you're a Notre Dame fan, that guy supposedly rides with you. I got news for you on the Joe Rogan podcast. He was not riding, okay? If you're listening to this podcast, and Shane Gillis is your boy, he's one of my favorite comedians, but man, he is not riding. So stay tuned for that. Before we get into all that, Big Z, how was your weekend, man? How was your week? Talk to me. Talk to the people.
Bro, for Thursday was Oliver's first T-ball practice, and it was so hilarious. So freaking fun just to watch him play with all these little kids.
Yeah.
His coach is one of the most patient people I've ever met, and I just met this guy.
Yeah.
To have 7, 3, and 4-year-olds just constantly trying to get his attention, asking for him, asking questions, what's going on.
Yeah.
It was just so fun to watch, though. He made a game, of how, and taught them how to run the bases in order. They all hit it off the tee. Oliver smacked one first try, and he was just he was so happy. Oliver was so happy. The whole day, he woke up, and I told him it's baseball practice, and he's like, "I'm so excited, Dad!" And every time we talked to him when he came up from school, I'm so excited for baseball.
He knows. He's been watching the Dodgers with you, so he's like, "Here, I get to go participate in this thing."
Yeah, man, and it's the best. Just to see that, obviously, this is my first time doing this with a child, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, it just, first off, it made me look back, my gosh, it's been 3 years since this dude was born. I can't believe we're here, and just to see him just kind of thrive. I just feel that he's just a natural. Obviously he has a lot to learn, but he's just so happy, and that's what made me and Haley happy just watching him. So that was fun, dude. That was definitely a joy, and I can't wait just to keep going. And I was helping out a little bit as much as I could, and it's gonna be fun, dude. It's gonna be a fun season.
You better get a knee brace on, dude. You better get a knee brace on just in case you trip over the base. You know what I mean? Protect them knees, Big Z. Protect them knees, Big Z. All right, sometimes you gotta get low. Got to get low on the grounder. It comes at you, got a gator. Dude. Don't forget, dude. Teach him the gator, dude. Teach him the gator. One hand on top, one hand on the bottom.
Bro, the gator.
The gator.
Yeah, they were doing ground balls. They were doing ground balls a little bit.
Yeah.
That's right. I was like, whoa, first practice? T-ball? Let's do it.
To give you perspective, one day you're in T-ball, and the next you're ranking children, right? So this week we're getting ready for the majors draft, and I'm sitting here giving scores and stuff. And it is the hardest thing because so many of these kids, I've been around them. I've had to coach them in the past or seen them grow. And so you want to believe in them. You want to get you're amazing. But when you have to draft a team, like there has to be some semblance of reality to it, right? It's like a whole different feel. Like in AAA, it's sort of still like, hey, let's put our best foot forward. Let's just see what we get, right? But when it comes to majors, like, dude, I don't want to get wrecked, right? Like I don't want to lose every single game. It's not going to be fun for the kids. It's not going to be fun for anybody. So you have to put together a team that's cohesive, right? That like gives you the best opportunity to win. And so looking back, it's like, dude, I never thought, not a million years, would I be here now. And my son, like my oldest son is going to majors, and I'm sitting here like trying to figure out, okay, who am I taking the first round? Who am I taking the second round? Like, what's going to happen? It's just absolutely crazy, man. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I made a strong comeback. If you're not following, dude, I have a pool page out there. Just check it out. It is wild. It is absolutely crazy the amount of damage that the winds did out here by us, right? So like last week, I kind of touched on it. I was pulling stuff out of like pools, like trampolines, stuff like that. This week, it just continued, man. Like there is so much dirt in these pools. There's so many, like these winds were historic. Like they were absolutely historic.
They're
it was terrible.
Winds.
It was terrible, dude. And so I've made a strong comeback. I think all of my pools now are on. So every single pool that I have is on. Now it's just a matter of cleaning filters, getting them back. But yeah, dude, it has been a rough go of it. On Friday, actually, I was done. The earliest I've been done in a couple weeks, actually. So like I was done before the sun went down. And I was like, this is great. Like this was a good day. But yeah, man, it's been fun. But man, let's jump in, Big Z. So the NFL, right? I mean, last weekend the games were okay. Right? Like we can all agree. Like they're all right. There was like the Bucks and the Manders was like, wow, that was a good game. That felt like felt like playoff football. Right. This weekend, every single game felt like this is why this team is here. Every single game I thought could have gone either way that I watched. Like I don't think there was a single game
I agree with
like, yeah, that team's better. Like that one is the better team. Like I didn't see that.
I agree with you. I was really surprised by the Texans, especially out of all the teams. Like I thought that their win last week was more of a fluke.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think like Herbert played bad. Chargers just were not ready. And I was really surprised about how strong the Texans came out. And like, yeah, man, all the games were great, but I mean, usually like they say that divisional week is the best week out of all the playoff weeks in the NFL, and that held true again this weekend. So let's talk about it, dude.
Let's talk about it. Dude.
I really want your honest opinion on that Texans game, bro. Like,
so I never
crazy,
do this.
Dude.
I never do this, right? Like you and I, and you can attest. I've been that guy that just says, look, Patrick Mahomes is really good.
Yeah,
I've sat here on this podcast time and time again, said like, we can talk about this, we can talk about that, we can talk about X, we can talk about Y, we can talk about Z, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. At the end of the day, this dude balls, and that's why he wins. Do not think that about today. I did not think that the Chiefs played well. I do not think that they deserve to win this game. And if I'm the Texans, I am furious. Patrick Mahomes, 177 yards, 1 touchdown, right? Their leading rusher, Kareem Hunt, had 44 yards. The Texans' defense did everything they could possibly do. And at every possible turn, dude, I never do this, all right? The NFL is going to find me, all right? They're going to find me. They're going to find me. Because in our breakdown, I put our little subject lines, Texans versus Chiefs and the Stripes. I mean, dude, pick a call. I mean, obviously, I'm going to one call. I'm going to one call that I just don't understand. They clearly didn't see it, so they just threw a flag. Like, because if you saw it, you realize that the two defenders didn't even touch Patrick Mahomes. They didn't even touch him. Like that, they hit each other.
You're talking about the helmet
somehow
to helmet?
Roughing the passer. It was called roughing the passer when the passer did not even get touched. I mean, that call. Right, I get it. You hear it. You hear the helmets hit. It's like, all right, this is roughing the passer. You look over, you see him on the ground. You're like, oh, maybe he got. But man, if you don't see it, like this is your job. This is not like, look, when James playing baseball and the umpires make a bad call, it's like, come on, Blue, like pull it together, man. But the reality is, these guys are not professionals, right? These guys are out here making a quick buck. They're trying, granted, they're trying to do the best they can. So it's like, all right, dude, whatever. Like it is 100%. What it is. But in the NFL, it's like, this is your profession. You have one job. And there's like 5 of you, right? Like no one saw that Patrick Mahomes didn't get touched. Not one guy could have ran out and been like, guys, hey, actually take a look at this or call New York or do whatever you got to do. And now, they're talking about it on the broadcast that this isn't even reviewable. But I mean, you take that call, right? It leads to a Travis Kelce touchdown, which is really easy to be like, oh yeah, Kelce had this amazing touchdown with Patrick Mahomes, like this incredible play as he's falling down. And it was a great throw. It was an incredible play. They should not have been in position to make that play, right? So like it's really easy to get lost in the weeds. Obviously the Texans could have done things better, right? You got to make some field goals. You have to execute when you're playing the Chiefs. Having said that, to me, this one was so about the refs. It was absolutely ridiculous. What do you think, Big Z?
I 100% agree with you. The call to me, I think, was the first roughing the passer call that was called on Will Anderson. Yeah. I think on the Chiefs' first drive. Yeah. And they called it helmet to helmet. And like the replay showed it, like he hit him with his chest first. And then like it was just incidental contact with, like, this is football, right? They're both tall guys. And I really want to be in that conversation. This is why I'm calling on the NFL every single year to televise those conversations between the refs in each other or the refs in the booth, because I want there to be accountability, because there's so many of these calls are just bogus. Like when you can see it with your naked eye, like you don't even need replay. It's like, what? Like it truly makes you think like this game is rigged for the Chiefs. It truly does. And the whole NFL world, all the fandom saw it besides Chiefs Kingdom. Everyone else was like, dude, like it makes us seriously question like what is going on behind the scenes. Like, is the NFL scripted? Like, do we want Patrick Mahomes to get the three-peat? Like that stuff is truly going on in our heads. And then when Patrick Mahomes flopped on the other one, like when he was going out of bounds and then the guy like barely tapped him and he just like freaking flung his whole body. Like this stuff, it's just unconscionable in my opinion, and it just needs to stop. The Texans, like I said, they came out and they played so well. They outgained the Chiefs in yardage. CJ Stroud had a way better game than Patrick Mahomes did. The defense, Will Anderson, like I mentioned, it's so good. I think D'Amico Ryans had such a good game plan.
Right.
I mean, they were in it, man. They were in it. And I think the play that you talked about, that penalty call, that's what really did the Texans in, right? Because, next couple plays, they go and score that touchdown. And that's the difference in the game. That's the difference. And I do think now the Chiefs are vulnerable. I think that the Bills have a really good chance of beating them.
I mean, the whole world.
Just because this is how they played all year. Yeah. Right?
The whole world's going to be rooting for them. The whole world is going to be, everybody wants the Bills to win. I mean, you're talking about a referee in Martin, right? He's refereed, I think it was like 6 or 7 games for the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have won every single game. That's insane, right? Like, you can't have that. Like, if there's a team that is just, they're always winning, and I get it. Like, all the Chiefs fans are like, well, it's because the Chiefs always win. They're pretty good. But then you see calls like this. When Troy Aikman, right, we all know the announcers love to be on Patrick Mahomes. That is what they want to do. They want to be all over Patrick. So when Troy Aikman even is like, dude, it was a horrible call. He's a runner. And the way that Mahomes dropped, it wasn't even a slide. It wasn't even a slide. He dropped straight down.
He just gave himself up.
Like, he gave himself up. And it's like, dude, how is a defender? Like, the argument, I am not that guy, Big Z. We sat here and argued about it. When you're like, dude, it was really close, I'm like, nope. The quarterback slid. I don't care. You got to be able to adjust as a defender. And you're like, no, dude, come on. It was really close. Like, the speed at which it happens. And I'm like, nope, he slid. It doesn't matter. Like, in this case, Big Z, 100% right. It's like, dude, he barely dropped. He dropped super late. And you want the defenders to do what? They're already hitting him. They're already jumping. Exactly. They're already airborne. Like, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to stop?
It just takes me to the play like where Jared Goff got wrecked, like destroyed. Sure, helmet to helmet, threw a pick six, and nothing was called. Where's the consistency, right? And like that's the part of the game where if you're gonna have the overhead camera, the overhead review come into play on some play, like why are you picking and choosing? Like you should just have it overlap everything. Oversee every single call, because that play truly turned the tide in the Commanders Lions game, and both plays did, right? One was called, one wasn't, and so man, it's crazy. I think the refs need to have like a report card, and like if you kind of like what the umps do, like we kind of see it, and you're demoted, like you don't ref or umpire a playoff game or a playoff series if you're bad enough, and like I think this is the same thing. Like you don't move on if. I
mean, I don't want to see these guys. I don't want to see this crew again.
No,
I don't want to see them again.
They better rotate them. They better rotate them off. I'd be pissed if I'm the Bills right now. I'm calling the league like, do not have this crew rep at my game next week.
There's no way. You can't.
You can't.
You can't. No. I mean, literally, Patrick Mahomes makes a flop like that because he knows he can get it.
Exactly.
Right? Like, he's looking at Martin like, hey, what the heck? You know, and Martin, he knows he just screwed up. Right? Because if that was any other time, if he doesn't make the call that he just made, I bet he calls that. I bet he throws his flag. But he knew. He knew he had screwed up, and so he didn't do it again. Right? And Mahomes like, what? And it's like, dude, no. They cannot be the crew again.
No,
Texans,
they can't.
You fought hard. Again, CJ Stroud, if you throw a touchdown, you still win this game probably. So you do have to be better. I'm not going to sit here and say it's all the refs. The Texans have to be better. Having said that, what bothers me specifically about this game is I feel like the referees definitely impacted the result. Right? Like, that's the biggest thing is 100%. Like, you absolutely impacted this game in ways that you didn't need to and things that you just didn't see. And now this is the second week of it. Right? This is the second week in a row we see Mahomes getting calls. Third week, right? Because even the last season of the you go back a few weeks ago, right? The second to last game of the season with Mahomes, not only does he not throw a pick six, right, against the Bucs or whoever it was, all of a sudden it's roughing the passer and nobody touched him. At some point, this is getting ridiculous. At some point,
totally,
this is you got to figure this out, NFL. You got a problem on your hands. You got a real problem. You got to figure it out. You got to figure it out.
100%.
I'll tell you who doesn't have to figure it out, Big Z. Saquon is soaring. Not the Eagles. Saquon, dude. I obviously got my Rams jersey on. Hard day for me as a Rams fan, but
tough.
At the end of the day,
we fought.
We fought tooth and nail. And I'll tell you what, when Saquon broke that run out, right? We're like sitting there. I actually went to a watch party thing, and it literally everybody's like, yeah, that's Saquon. Like, he's just 205 yards and 2 touchdowns. If Saquon doesn't play this game, the Rams beat the crap out of the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles probably aren't, they're not even in this game, right? Let's start right there.
Yeah, the Eagles aren't even in the playoffs.
Right. Saquon is so good. He is so good. We talked about it today. Again, I was one of the guys watching him break out. I was like, dude, he's Kobe. Like, it's like watching him. Like, you're not going to stop him. You were never going to keep him bottled up for a whole game on this team. Like, all you can do is try to limit the damage. And he crushed it today. I mean, he absolutely crushed it. And the Rams did everything they could. Kyron Williams, 106 yards rushing. Matthew Stafford, 324 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Like, the Rams showed up. They played a good game in the snow, but Saquon is just that good, dude.
I mean, Jared Verse came out, said what he said about the Eagles fans, and he still did what he usually does, right? He just dominated the offensive line, sacked. I mean, Jalen Hurts got sacked 7 times. When I saw the over-under on on Saquon Barkley rushing yards over 112 and a half, I was like, oh my God, like, that is a high number. Like, who would bet the over on that?
Yeah.
And there's a reason why. I mean, like, you said it, man. You hit the nail on the head right there. Like, without Saquon, this team is nothing. We've been saying it all year.
They're crap. They're crap.
The Eagles, Saquon Barkley makes this team a Super Bowl contender, and so it's solely Saquon. Jalen Hurts, I don't think is a franchise QB, but again, we talked about it last week. Jalen Hurts did what they needed him to do, right? Control the offense, hand the ball off to Saquon when you need to, and also use your legs. He had 7 carries for 70 yards. He scored the first touchdown of the game. He did really well managing the game, right? He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's not playing outside of himself. And that's what I think is the recipe for success for this team. Saquon, man, I can't say enough. The Giants just the owner, Mara, just has to be so mad that he went over to this team and he is taking them to the NFC Championship game. He is just so
Did you see the video that's going viral right now? It's got Brian Daboll, right? And he's talking in a room. And he's talking about, like, he would give the whole team to go get Jaden Daniels, right? And everyone's kind of looking at him like, we're not doing that. Like, this is the year of Daniel Jones, right? Like, that's what the GM was saying. And Brian Daboll's like, no, this guy's going to be good. Could you imagine if the Giants right now had Jaden Daniels and Saquon Barkley? I mean, from everything we're seeing, they're in the playoffs. 100% they're in the playoffs.
100%.
They're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're making a push. Yeah. I mean, Jaden Daniels, we're seeing it right now. We'll talk about it in a minute. But Saquon Barkley looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
He's having the best season of his career. He looks unstoppable. The Eagles are flying. They're having fun. And we'll talk about their matchup next week. But, man, it
just looks like the Rams definitely look like they didn't know how to play in the snow. Like that. No. I think the weather affects those West Coast teams that we don't have to play in that stuff. The fans don't have to endure that stuff. I mean, you saw it. The handoffs to Kyron, he finally lost one. Some of the sloppy throws by Stafford, like at some critical points in the game. They just didn't take care of the ball, and they ended up losing by 6, right? And you have to. And I know it's easier said than done, right? Like that game, it was just like the snow was insane. Like it was coming down so heavily. You couldn't even see the numbers. You can't even see the ball when they kicked the field goal. But like that eventually did them in, right? But credit to the Rams for fighting till the end. Like they made it the game. They had an opportunity. I just don't understand. Sean McVay is such a good play caller. I don't understand when it's 3rd and 2, when you're on the Eagles, what was it, like 8-yard line or whatever it was. Why are you passing it? Like this is obviously 4-down territory. Call a run play, right? Like my only gripe with them right there is that play call right there.
Or just do the thing that we've been doing, right? If you do want to get the receivers involved, have Nakua or Kupp come in motion through the middle and give them the ball. Like that's fine too.
Yeah.
But I agree.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Yeah. That's tough. My only gripe. I mean, not a lot of teams are going to play that well and have that fight in them to come back like the way that they didn't actually make it a contest. Right. So, hey man, you guys had a good season though.
100%.
No one thought that you guys would be in the divisional round of the playoffs. Nope. You won the division. So congrats to you guys.
I mean, with the future,
it will be interesting to see what you guys do with Matthew Stafford in the offseason. Oh. He's in a contract year and he's owed a lot of money. So it'll be interesting to see what you guys have to do.
I think we re-signed him. I could be wrong. I think we already extended him.
I think he has one year left, but it's like a lot. It's a huge cap hit. So I don't know what they'll figure it out.
Yeah. He's gonna.
It's a good ownership group.
He's gonna have to renegotiate a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it was a close game. Came right down to the wire. The Rams were driving to win it, and just couldn't get it done. Credit the Eagles. It is what it is. Kyron got stopped a few times on 3rd down, so who knows? But man, it was a tough loss. But I mean, again, we lost to Saquon. I mean, Saquon is just so stinking good. Whoever's coming to play him, you got to make Jalen Hurts throw the ball. And that was one thing. That was the one gripe I did have. Is like, dude, go 1-on-1. Make him beat like when he threw to AJ Brown. AJ Brown dropped it or he missed him. It was like, go keep going 1-on-1. Make them beat you with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. I know that sounds crazy. It sounds disrespectful. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. All I'm saying is load the line, load the box. Like everybody after Saquon, 1-on-1 on the outside. Make Jalen Hurts beat you. Because I mean,
it's the same way they beat him last time when you guys played him. Like Saquon had like 250 rushing yards. All right, like they didn't. Yeah, like make an adjustment. They didn't look like they made an adjustment on defense.
No. As good as the defensive coordinator looked last week, it was like this week. Like, hey, dude, I'm glad you gamed for AJ Brown. That's great. Okay, that's cool. Give him his respect. Whatever.
Yeah.
Saquon is the problem. He was the problem. He is the problem. Game plan for the problem. The Bills take down the Ravens. Wow. Very close game. Back and forth they went. I mean, this was everything that it was hyped up to be. This is everything that was promised to be. When you watch this game, you're looking at two teams that if they played 10 times, I think it might go 5-5. Right? Like there's no guarantee how this thing's going to end. But Josh Allen, again, snow, rain, whatever's going on, he's always good. He's always good, and he does exactly what's needed, right? This was not a high, potent offensive game for him. 127 yards passing, 20 yards rushing, right? But they got it done, Big Z. They got it done. Lamar Jackson was, to me, did look like probably the best player in the game. Him and Derrick Henry, but the Bills still won.
In the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In the second half.
Lamar Jackson came out shaky, threw that early pick, got that fumble, and that's what gave the Bills life. Like we talked about it. When you're the team on the road, like you can't be giving the ball away. And I think that was the theme this whole weekend. Turnovers will kill you in the playoffs. And the team that has the least amount of turnovers is going to finish the game on top, and they're going to win.
Yep.
And that's what I think, that's what doomed the Ravens. I will credit Lamar Jackson, though. I think that he, like I said, in the second half, he had a lot. He played so well. He played like the Lamar Jackson that he's been playing like this season, right? Like that's the Lamar Jackson that we know. And that play to go score a touchdown with less than 2 minutes left, that was a great drive. Like he was throwing the ball with confidence, using his legs, doing what Lamar Jackson does. And so I was like, you know what? If they lose this game, like this one's on him. Like Mark Andrews lost some of that game tonight. It wasn't Lamar Jackson really losing them this game, in my opinion. I don't think that tomorrow a serious media pundit can actually come out and blame Lamar Jackson for that loss.
Yeah.
Right? Mark Andrews made one horrendous fumble and one terrible drop of a great pass, wide open. No one was there in the end zone for that 2-point conversion.
To tie the game.
It was going to tie the game. People were saying, well, there's too much time left. And it doesn't matter. They scored. Like Lamar Jackson did what he had to do. He drove his team down there and they scored. So I thought it was a great game. I just won too many turnovers. And I think that's what doomed the Ravens in the end. Josh Allen, he just, like you said, it wasn't a super explosive offensive performance by him with his arm, but he did what he had to do with his legs. He had 2 touchdowns with his legs, 20 yards rushing. James Cook did what he had to do as well. And, that's what the Bills do. That's their recipe for success. They didn't turn the ball over, and they just fed off of that home crowd. And now they get to go into Arrowhead, and I hope they had that same exact game plan. Keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands and see what happens, right? And just play with that confidence. And I love what Allen said after the game. No one believed in us. Everyone thought that we were too weak, that we couldn't stop the run. And no one had us even making the playoffs. And now look at us, And so Bills Mafia, man, we're rooting for you. Like what a game. What a game.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I mean, this game was everything that it promised to be. Lamar Jackson showed up. Yep, he had a rough start, 100%, but the second half looked absolutely incredible. Derrick Henry got his. Everybody got theirs. The Bills just did enough. And Mark Andrews, you never want to say, one guy, there was obviously other turnovers, but in the big moments, your superstars have to show up. And Mark Andrews is their superstar, and there's no other way. He let him down. I mean, that drop in the end zone was insane. It was in his hands. I mean, it was there.
And there's no one there. There's
no one there. You score. And at the end of the day, do the Bills have a chance to go down and score? Yes, but at least you're making them do it. At least they can't just come out.
Yeah, you're putting the pressure on them. Okay, go out and do it.
You never know. Maybe they fumble and you score. You never know.
Exactly.
Right? But
is it better than not scoring? I don't know. This argument to me, I was like, what? What are they supposed to do?
It was funny. Somebody posted that, Lamar was all pissed off after the game. And we shared it on our Twitter. If you're not following us, by the way, Brevity Sports, go follow our Twitter. But I tweeted it out, retweeted it from whoever, posted the initial speech. And Lamar was pissed. But the thing that I put above it was that he called himself out, right? He's like, look, I had turnovers, but we gotta catch the ball. We gotta keep the ball. We gotta not drop the rock. That's what killed them, right? Yep. Putting the ball on the ground, whether it was a drop pass or a fumble, that's what killed them. You take those things out, the Ravens won this game. Period. They win this game without those turnovers, without the drop passes. They win this game. But credit to you, Bills Mafia. We're all rooting for you. Just be ready because you're playing the refs too. I mean, that's
playing two parties
clear. Yep. Playing 2 parties if it keeps going. All right, let's do it. It's about that time. Upset of the year. Big Z. The Commanders go in and did what no one thought possible. And even, looking back, I wish I would have stood a little bit stronger on the take. I remember last week I was talking about, I was like, look, the Commanders got a shot because Jaden Daniels is a young, mobile quarterback with confident swagger. Just dude is doing his thing, and he's got to keep doing his thing if they're going to have any shot in this game. We said they had to score a lot of points, and they did that, right? So this game was absolutely insane, and it's exactly what we talked about. The Lions' one weakness that we've seen, that to his credit, it did look like Jared Goff had solved this at certain points in the season, that if you put the game into his hands, right, he's not going to be able to keep up. And today, 313 yards passing, 3 interceptions is the story. That is the story for Jared Goff. The turnovers. Jaden Daniels had none of those. 299 yards, 2 tutties, and of course, just with his legs. It's not necessarily that's his first go-to, but it's the effectiveness with which he rushes. Yeah. When he decides to take off, he gouges you.
It's smart. It's calculated. It's not just like taking off to take off. He's a very smart quarterback. The Bears have to be kicking themselves. The Giants obviously have to be kicking themselves. But with the Lions, I go back to something I said at the beginning of the season. This is the first year that they have these expectations to be one of the best teams in the NFC, in the league, really, right? And how are they going to handle that? And all year, it was like, okay, they've handled it. They've done well. They've had a lot of injuries. Yeah. They're still the number 1 dog. They really weren't tested. And I think they handled it poorly. And I think they let that get to their head. I think that they looked past the Commanders. They realized, we're the number 1 seed. We have the bye. We get to host the NFC Championship game next week. And they didn't realize that they have a hungrier team with a confident QB and a team with nothing to lose and no pressure coming in to bite their kneecaps off, right? And that's what happened to the Lions. And they didn't handle it. I think they had a lot of pride, and they learned the hard way, right? They didn't come out ready. And like you said, the Commanders put the game into Goff's hands, and they made the Lions play outside of their game plan. And that's exactly why they won the game. Commanders just looked like they just didn't have any pressure on them. They looked loose. They looked like they were having fun out there. Terry McLaurin was just doing what Scary Terry does.
Right.
And they just had the three-headed monster in Brian Robinson, Jaden Daniels, and Austin Eckler on the ground. There's just so many different facets to this offense that can really hurt you. And then Zach Ertz, the revival of Zach Ertz, like, I'm so happy for this guy. He got that game-sealing touchdown in the end.
He's going back to Philly.
Yeah, man. And this team, I know most people are going to take the Eagles.
No,
but this team has a real shot.
We'll talk about it in a minute. Not me.
Of dethroning them.
Not me.
But yeah, like you said, man, I think that you can pin this loss on Jared Goff 100%. And you've been saying it. You were really nice. Nice what you just said to him just now. But I know your true feelings, and just say it. Like, he lost the game for them.
He's not that guy, bro. He's just not that guy. I've sat here and I've told you time and time again, and everybody says I'm a jerk. He is a good starting quarterback, and he deserved every cent of that contract. He earned it. Good job, dude. He is not that guy. Jared Goff, you're not that guy, pal. You're just not. At the end of the day, he's going to take you far. He can even get you to the promised land, but he's not going to win you the game. He can get you to the Super Bowl, but he's not going to win it. It's just not who he is.
He's dependent on
the game script, on everything going his way. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown still had 137 yards receiving. Jahmyr Gibbs, 70 yards receiving. Jahmyr Gibbs, 105 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs did everything he could possibly do. This guy is an absolute bona fide stud. Jared Goff's 3 interceptions, absolutely what killed you. Look, at the end of the day, I don't want to gloat. I don't want to say it too much, but I've told you time and time and time again, Mitchie, if you're out there listening, stop asking me if I'm going to admit Goff is that dude. He's not that guy. When push comes, he can get you the best record of the season. When push comes to shove, when the chips are down and you're finally in that ugly game, because eventually you're going to play somebody who wants it just as bad as you do, right? In the playoffs, you're going to lose. He doesn't have that it. He doesn't have that oomph. He doesn't have that gusto. I'll tell you who does. De'Ami Brown, man. A guy that's been sitting here listening to Amon-Ra St. Brown drag his name all through the mud for the last couple of years. This is a guy who was drafted before me. Oh, yeah, I saw that guy, De'Ami Brown. I think you just standing there on the sideline. Well, I've been scoring tutties. Well, 6 for 98 yards. Yeah, Amon-Ra had a better game. But again, it's got to feel good going into Detroit. I wonder if he looked at him after like, hey, dude, maybe keep my name out of your mouth, right? Maybe keep my name out of your mouth, because we just did what we did. I got the quarterback. I got the guy who is that dude. And we just took it from you, man. So shout out to him. I wanted to give him a little bit, give him his flowers. I know everybody loves that. I know everybody likes that Amon-Ra St. Brown story, right? Oh, the 16 receivers that were taking blood. I have a chip on my shoulder. But De'Ami Brown to come and be like, son.
There's a lot more talking this year from the Lions. You could tell me as the season went on, as it progressed, there's a lot more smack talking, a lot of stuff on Twitter going around, and it was pretty interesting. You just see their head, and you're like, like that's where you want Dan Campbell to come in, like just slap that stuff out of there.
He was part of the problem. I mean, going into the playoffs, hey, I'll see you in 2 weeks. You're not seeing nobody in 2 weeks.
Right.
You're going home. You're in Cancun. Maybe you guys will jump, but you guys are gonna bump into each other in Cabo. That's where they're going to see
NFC North, weak? Soft?
NFC North, soft? Listen, dude, there was so much talk. I'm amazed that I'm going to be surprised. Well, now they'll fit on the plane, but I'm surprised, you know what I mean? Like, they were able to get in their cars to drive down, because the way they were talking, like, this thing was over. Everybody had already crowned the Lions. I was being told I've been told all season that the Rams lost the trade. Like, that's been the whole talk. Look at the trade. Rams lost, right? I'm like, first of all, we won a Super Bowl. We did it. Like, we already won the trade. Like, let's be clear.
Who said that? Who the heck said that?
The Rams are already, dude, all over social media, man. All over social media. And
what are you talking about?
You got boys like Mitchie over here, like, oh, Jared Goff. Are you going to admit he's that guy? Oh, look at Jared Goff and the Lions. They're not going to win.
You got the Super Bowl. What are you doing?
Yeah. Come on. We got the Super Bowl, man. We did it.
Bro,
It's over.
I would have taken the Super Bowl and then just L's, like no playoffs for the next 10 years. You still would have at least won.
Which is what it was
both,
supposed to
at
be.
least both sides would have won.
Which is what it's supposed to be, right? It was supposed to be that the Rams were not going to be good.
Got good.
And now, yeah.
But yeah, there's no way you guys took the L on that trade. That's insane.
Let's talk more about the boy, Jaden Daniels, dude. He is so good.
Gosh, I love it.
So good. I mean,
man, like
can we
just gloat? Like I know let's not gloat like the Lions, but let's just gloat. Let's just gloat.
We gotta gloat.
We have nothing to lose.
We gotta gloat. We called it. We told you.
We called it like a year ago, like in February, like when these pre-draft rankings were coming out. Don't go after the guy who cries on the sideline, who's yelling at his teammates when he's the one turning the ball over, who's not leading the team, who's not going on his correct reads. Go after the guy who's been there, won big games, played in huge stadiums for great teams, and actually done something in college. You know? Go with the guy who's humble, not the gloaty guy who just the showboating guy, all right?
Dude, we said it before when Caleb Williams went to the combine and didn't participate. And his reason was, you watched me play in college. You've seen enough. You lost in college. You didn't win big games. What are you talking about? Like, that drove me crazy in the moment, and no one talked about it. We were the only two guys talking about it because ESPN
people said it was smart.
And the NFL Network was like, yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. I mean, what more does this guy have to show? I don't know that he can win in big moments because Jaden Daniels is showing you right now. The dude always looks unfazed. He always looks unfazed. It doesn't matter the scenario, right? This game, yes, it ended 45-31, but it was way closer for much of the game. For the entire game, it was very, very close. And he just never looked bothered. He never looked like the moment was too big. He always made the right reads. He's willing to take the checkdowns. He's willing to scramble when he absolutely needs to. It's just incredible to watch. And we talked about it. We called it, right? If you're the Bears, you're absolutely kicking yourself right now. This guy, you give him, I'm sorry, you give Jaden Daniels, Keenan Allen, and DJ Moore, I think they're probably in the playoffs. I think they're probably in the playoffs, dude. I think they're competing 100%. Right now.
Like, this is
Jaden Daniels under center. They're competing right now.
Yeah, like for people at the end of the year, like, oh no, this is the worst receiver room in the league. Oh
my God.
Bears. I'm like, get out of here, dude.
Dude, we posted on our Twitter, old enough to remember when this was the perfect scenario for Caleb Williams.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, hey, look, I guess the one bright side here is that Caleb will, like, I hope this lights a fire underneath his butt. Like, okay, like I need to get out, really work hard on my craft, my game, my leadership ability. I need to bring in veterans around me and ask them, take pointers, take notes, ask them for some wisdom, dude. Like, don't be all about me. I'm the best guy. I'm the savior of this franchise. And also, you put the onus. This is not just on Caleb. This is on everyone. This is on the media. This is on Hard Knocks HBO for crowning him the next Michael Jordan of Chicago. Like, this guy has done nothing to deserve that. And so that all contributed to this guy's ego just being so big, and you just could not deflate it. And I hope that Jaden Daniels, the guy who was picked after him, I hope that's the needle that pokes that balloon out, and all that ego just deflates, because he needs a wake-up call.
At some point, you're watching USC lose game after game after game after game, and everybody is still banging the drum. Caleb Williams is the dude. It's on the defense. Nobody around him. It's not his fault because he's way too talented. Get to the NFL. Turns out, we said it before. He could be a fine quarterback, but set realistic expectations. I said it before the season. If they finish 500, that's a win, right? If they finish right around 8 and 9, like, to me, that's good. That's great, which they didn't do, right? And everybody else, like, no, they're going to win the Super Bowl, right? What's his name? The guy with the Nick Wright. They're going to win the Super Bowl. Like, dumb. Like, it's just a dumb take. Well, our boy, Jaden Daniels, is showing everybody why, Brevity Boys, this is why you listen to us, we know what we're talking about. Turns out, we sat here and told you, Jaden Daniels is real. He looks real. He looks every bit of real. The Manners get the upset of the year. We're here for it. We love it. And by the way, it's not because of their run game. I mean, Brian Robinson Jr. had a fine run game, 77 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's doing fine. But it's Jaden Daniels, dude. This is
Daniels
all
making the big plays.
Daniels.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where if Jaden Daniels is not on the Commanders, they are like 5-12. Flip that record around. They're 5-12. They're right 100%. Back to obscurity where they were last season. Speaking of Eagles and the Commanders, I'm going to say it right now. I am going with the team with the better quarterback. I'm going with the Commanders, baby. I'm taking the Commanders over the Eagles. They have the better quarterback already. That's right, Eagles fans. I said it. Brevity Sports. They have the better quarterback. Jaden Daniels is already better than Jalen Hurts. Period.
It's by far, he's a better quarterback. They have a better offensive game plan. They know this team, right? They're in the same division. Both games they played this year were close, 1-1. It was split. But yeah, at the end of the game, like I think that Dan Quinn is smart enough to know, let's take the ball out of Saquon's hands and let's put it in Jalen Hurts' hands and see what he does. And if we lose to that, fine. We lose the game.
Cool.
But we ain't losing to Saquon. Like, he's going to get his. Like, he's going to score 1 or 2 touchdowns. Fine.
He's breaking one out.
Sack the box, already know. You make him uncomfortable. And that's what Dan Quinn does so well, is he makes the opposing offense very uncomfortable. That's what his specialty is. You saw the Cowboys defense faltered this year because Dan Quinn was gone. He was the defensive coordinator, and it was it was a top defense when he was there. So you got to do that. Put the game into Jalen Hurts' hands and see what happens. I'm going Commanders too. I think it's a pretty easy pick.
Yeah, the line already is out. Philadelphia favored by 5. I'm like, what? Okay, take it. Yeah. Take it. All right, take it and run. Commanders are beating the Eagles. I'm calling it out right now. They look good. They have their dude, Scary Terry. They have their dude, Brown. They're balling. Jaden Daniels has no favorite receiver. You know, Terry's having a great season. Don't get me wrong. He's having a great season, and that's probably, if Jaden Daniels had a go-to, it probably is McLaurin. Yeah, right now, the way he's playing, anyone can get it, bro. I mean, they are throwing the ball around the yard, right? I mean, that's the reality situation. You cannot look at the Commanders. There's not one way to stop them, right? They have a very mobile quarterback, which is terrifying, right? And then look at this spread out. You got Brown with 6 receptions, McLaurin with 4 receptions, Eckler with 4 receptions, Ertz with 5 receptions, Jamison and Crowder with 2 receptions, and Bates with 1 reception. I mean, he's throwing it around. Who's ever open is open. Give me the Commanders. I love it. Jaden Daniels, we are proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Sir.
Attaboy. Attaboy, we called it out, and you delivered. You made the Brevity boys look so smart.
Give some credibility.
When Alabama made us look so stupid, you made us look smart. So well done. Appreciate you, my boy. Way to make us have a comeback. Chiefs and the Bills, referees versus the Bills. We're going to see how it goes down. The Chiefs open up as the favorite, but it's very close, Big Z.
1.5.
0.5. I can't bring myself to do it, so I'll do it. I'm taking the Bills. The Bills are going to win this game. Josh Allen is going to exercise the demons. He's going to do it. He's going to beat Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead. It's no longer going to be Burrowhead. It's going to be called Allenhead, and they're going to do it. They're going to win. They're going to get it done, and we're all going to be happy that Mahomes and Kelsey and Taylor Swift can ride off into the sunset and go make all their money.
I hope so. I'm so over it. I'm so over seeing the Chiefs and Taylor Swift.
If you're not watching our YouTube, you gotta go. You gotta go for this one moment. You gotta go check out our YouTube page because Big Z is sitting here. He had the most somber look on his face, just arms folded. I'm so tired of this. Just old man Z was on full display right now. That was great, Big Z.
It's great, man. I'm going Bills. I just want Josh Allen to just go in and just roughhouse his team and just run all over them, beat them up.
Yes.
Just take control of what's his, right? He was cheated last time because the stupid overtime rule wasn't changed at that point. Go out and just shred this team. This team is not as good as the Bills.
Nope.
And they didn't play well again yesterday. And I don't think they're going to play as well as they should against the Bills. I think the Bills win by a touchdown plus. I don't think it's going to be super close.
100%, man. 100%. This game is not going to be close. If you are the Bills, you should be very, very excited. I'll be honest with you. Looking at the Bills and what they've done so far, right? They just beat the Ravens today, right? In my humble opinion, I really, really, really do believe this. I think they just played the best team that they're going to play.
Yeah.
I really believe that. I think the Ravens are better than the Chiefs. So you're ready for this. You're ready for this. Go in there, execute, beat the Chiefs. Let's stop with the nonsense going off in Chiefs Kingdom. Yeah, we told you. Bro, you told us what? The referees were going to have your back? Stop it.
Right.
Freaking so tired of it. Yeah, we did it. No, the refs did it. Go give them their flowers.
The refs did it for you.
Take them out to dinner. Go meet Martin wherever you meet him because I know they got to hang out. They have some sort of hangout. Go hang out with him. The Bills are going to dominate. James Cook's going to run all over them. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be awesome. That is on 3:30 next Sunday leading up. It's going to be Manders Eagles and then Bills Chiefs. So check that out. I cannot wait. And that might be Eastern time. I'm actually not sure looking at this. But
it's 3:30 Pacific time.
3:30 Pacific, 12 o'clock for the earlier game. Cannot wait. Moving right along, NCAA. The Natty is on the line. When is that game, Big Z? Is that coming up? It's got to be close, right?
It's tomorrow. Tomorrow night, baby. 5 o'clock.
Tomorrow, 5 o'clock. Boy, I'm drafting.
College
That's
football.
when the draft is. Well, hopefully, hopefully
College
it moves
football
quick.
will finally be over. I cannot believe it's still going on.
I cannot believe it's still going. So here's the thing. If you've not been keeping up, Notre Dame and Ohio State, there's a lot of betting going on. These are two powerhouse schools. There's a lot of people that are celebrities, comedians that are tied to these schools. Shane Gillis is one such celebrity, and he is on the Joe Rogan podcast. Hilarious. One of the funniest podcasts. It was like, I forgot what day it came out last week, but it was so funny. It was like him and Mark Norman, Joe Rogan, there's another guy. But regardless, Shane Gillis would not bet straight up that Notre Dame was going to win this game. So Notre Dame fans, he does not have your back, okay? He does not have your back because he believes that you're going to lose. I mean, literally, he's sitting there on the podcast talking about this is a terrible bet for me to make straight up. I got to take the spread. It is what it is. I got to do what I got to do because he is scared of Ohio State. And honestly, I think he's got good reason to be.
It's going to be a tough, tall task for Notre Dame to beat Ohio State. I think I said it last week. I think losing to Michigan woke this team up. Like woke up Ryan Day and his play calling abilities, and like they've looked like such a different team since that moment. But surprise, surprise, I'm taking Notre Dame. I just want them to win. I really like the coach. I think the team. I like the program. I think that they're deserving of winning a national title because they've just been the butt of the joke for so long, for so many years, from us included. And so I want Notre Dame, the underdog, to win. So I'm taking Notre Dame. There's no statistical reason why I'm taking Notre Dame, but I'm just taking them because I want them to win.
There is no statistical reason for them to win. Dude, I'm rooting for Notre Dame. I don't know if they're going to win, but I'm rooting for them. I am rooting for them. Go get them. Marcus Freeman, go get them. I believe in you at least more than Shane Gillis. I think you do have a shot in this game. All right, you got a shot. Go make it close. Go get it done. All right.
We're not telling you to bet on them, though. We're not.
But most importantly, all right, the Bills have got to get a W over the Chiefs. All right, that's right, what we need to focus on.
That's
Keep
right,
the main thing. You know what I'm talking about?
That's right.
Big Z, this has been fun. Say bye to the people.
All right, guys. You guys have a great week. Enjoy this week. For some of you, it may be a short week. Martin Luther King Day tomorrow. So enjoy it if you get it off. We have been active on the socials. So thanks for the interactions. Continue to interact with us, and we will interact back with you. And yeah, just enjoy life. We love you guys. Have a good week.
We love you. Thanks for listening. Next podcast, we'll start to bring in some baseball. I know we didn't talk about it tonight. We are preparing a defense. At least one of us is. There is no defense. Really, as I say it aloud, there's no defense. The Dodgers are the evil empire. But we'll bring you up to speed with what's going on in baseball. We just wanted to focus on football this week at the NCAA. Shout out to the Fighting Irish. Go get them, champs. Go get them. All right. Beat Ohio. We love you. Thanks for listening. And go hit that subscribe. Hit that like.
Please.
It really does help us out. All right, if you're watching these videos, if you like our videos, if you like our dumb shorts, give us a like. Give us a follow. Go check us out on Twitter. Go check us out on Instagram. We are active. We are posting. I even posted on Instagram this week, which we're posting. We're posting.
Yeah, dude. We're doing it.
Posting. Go give us a follow.
Please. Love you guys.